Hey, today's interview is gonna be heavy, and that's the best word I can use to describe the conversation we're about to have. This is a guy who I have actually read about and saw interviews long before we had a chance to sit and have a conversation. And it's just one of those crazy things because I've been wanting to talk to this gentleman, like literally been, because he's such a fascinating human being. And I'm so intrigued by his life. And I'm so intrigued by the idea of there are people out there that are willing to do things that most human beings, not just Americans, but human beings could not even conceive, just to keep us safe. Please welcome former Army Ranger, the first black sniper in the Army 3rd Battalion, um, Sergeant Nick Irvin. Sergeant Nick Irvin, welcome to Vlad TV, man.
Hey, I appreciate you for having me on. Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, you know, I was trying to find the words even as I was introducing you because your story is incredibly fascinating. It really, really is. And even as I look at you, you're composed. You look as though you never spent one day overseas. You're not what we would expect for a man that has 33 confirmed kills as a sniper, and I'd say just about as many that are unconfirmed, but you were a machine gunners. Before we get deep into your story, is this just who you are? Are you naturally this poised?
To be honest with you, I just became this way. Within the past, I would say 5 years, maybe. Actually, 6 years after the birth of my son. Kind of, switched up my whole personality. It was like I didn't mean to do it, but I was forced into that position to become more of a dad figure, as opposed to being the guy who I used to be. A hothead, short temper. And I think that came from, 6 deployments, doing a bunch of different things, and you come back here, and I just knew what I was capable of doing. I grew up as, I was being bullied as a kid throughout all high school, and after my first deployment and shooting somebody, I remember telling myself I was 18 years old, and I was like, I'll never get bullied again, and it just kind of upped that, I guess, that persona in me, that beast in me, that animalistic, primal behavior that I had of being, to have the job that I had, you had to be a savage. And coming back here to the States wasn't, conducive to the environment stateside, being that character. So after the birth of my son, I was kind of forced into simmering down a little bit, settling down and calming down. I couldn't be that way. It was a hard character. And we all have characters at the end of the day. We're all portraying somebody, even if it's who we think we are, we're portraying that person. So to be able to switch up, change characters, it's, we're all actors in this big game, this big stage, of life. So it was just something I had to do for the, betterment of my family.
Okay, you talked about being bullied when you were young. Talk to me about your family and your upbringing.
Yeah.
Were your parents disciplinarians? I know that you are a former Army Ranger. Were your parents in the service?
Yeah, definitely. My mom and dad. I was actually born overseas in Augsburg, Germany. My parents both were in the Army. They were doing counterintelligence stuff back in the Cold War, fighting against the Soviets with technology and copying Morse code and stuff like that, intercepting different, I don't know what they were doing. They still say it was top secret or whatnot, but I grew up there, and it was like a dream of mine to, want to be like my dad. That was all I saw was Army uniform and him being proud of his service, and I just wanted to follow along those footsteps, but I was not too smart to be like a computer guy. But I knew I wanted to follow along those lines and be in the military, definitely.
Wow. Counterintelligence. So your parents are pretty intelligent. Obviously, they're very smart people. Did you follow in their footsteps? Did you graduate with a high GPA?
No, I graduated with the 1.7 GPA.
Excuse me?
1.7. I was
Both
terrible.
parents are counterintelligence, and you graduated with a 1.7?
Oh yeah. It was a hard childhood. It was a lot of disciplinary actions, a lot of punishment, suspensions from school. I got into a lot of confrontations and fights in school, and I didn't try to be a bad kid, but it was just the people I hung around and the people who were around me at the school and where I grew up at. I just wanted to kind of fit in with the crowd, I guess, and it kind of worked in my favor, but not so much. I was not really built for that. I didn't find out that part of me until I joined the Army. But as far as school goes, no, I was taking like fundamentals of math. My senior year, I barely graduated. I was supposed to get like my diploma mailed to me. I wasn't going to walk across the stage, and it was like a toss in the air if I was going to even graduate or not. So my parents had a hard time with that, and it was by choice, I think. Like I could have done better, but